Meeting is called to order at 7 p.m. and we can all please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to inform the public that council met in an executive session this evening at 6:15 p.m. to discuss the collective bargaining agreement for our teamsters. Madam Borough Manager, may we have a roll call, please? President Allen? Present. Vice President Hill? Yeah, he's present. Councilor Bravo? Present. Councilor Felder?
Present.
Councilor Fleming? Present. Councilor Patrick?
Present.
Mayor Booker?
Present.
Solicitor Miller?
Present.
Treasurer Morgan? Engineer Lynch? Code Officer Collins?
Yeah. Present.
Building Code Official Tortaglia? Chief Heron?
Present. Present. I'm sorry.
Councilor Smith? Present. And Borough Manager Joy Teller is present. Madam Borough Manager, do you have awareness of the Treasurer's attendance hearing? He did notify me that he ran into some last minute emergency. He is planning to make it. If not, then I have the report as submitted. Thank you. Alrighty. So just want to remind the public that we started at the last meeting with the public comments cards, and they should be in the back of the room. So if you do have public comment and you just want to fill that out, so we have it here when we get to public comment section, and we'll call everyone up. If you didn't fill one out by that time, you're welcome to go get a card and pass it to the front.
Madam President, I have a process request.
Yes, ma'am.
Since most of us work full time, it would be really helpful if we got Caucus packets distributed earlier for Thursday meeting. I think if we can get the packets by Friday or Monday of that week, it would give us adequate time to review the materials and come prepared for discussions.
Okay, thank you for that. Friday is not possible just because we have our agenda meetings typically early on Tuesdays. I know it is a goal of the new borough manager to get the packets out at least by Tuesday when we after the agenda meeting. So we are open to moving it up to the Monday, but it is a stress as a person that works full time to have received the packet and be able to comb through it to be fully prepared for this evening, the caucus meetings. But Friday we won't be able to do it because we do have to allow time to have the agenda meeting, and then the borough manager will work on her strategy to get it to us as early as possible. That is part of the goal.
I appreciate that. If we could aim for Monday distribution as a standard procedure, that would be helpful.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into committee reports. Starting with mine, I would like to invite Ms. Ashley forward to do your library report, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Grinning from ear to ear, this guy.
I'm just happy.
I know that's right. Stay happy.
First, I want to thank the Friends of the Sharon Public Library. I want to thank Councilor Bravo, Councilman President and Mayor Ed Booker, and Councilwoman Tanya Allen for supporting the program last Friday night. And you were there too. Yes, I was. Thank you also. We had an absolutely fantastic time. I think Charlie about 100 people at one time. Somebody said 100 people came. We had a wonderful time. We had the photo booth. Absolutely fantastic. You know? And I made Council President look so good. You know? It was
Y'all don't believe that.
it was wonderful. So my report's going to be short because I gave it all away 2 weeks from now. But what happened in February with the bad weather, we had to close a couple of days and we had to cancel some of our Black History programs. But we plan on doing them throughout March and April and get back on track with our Black History. Black History is 365 days a year, not just 28 days. So that's what we're talking about. In April, Summer Reading Club, we're going to start to sign up. And this month, in March, we have a Women's History program on March 28th. On March 21st, we have a poetry slam from 6 to 8. We're going to start kind of open up the library a little later. With the scheduling of the staff, pushing it back a little bit, and having the community be able to use the library for unregulated hours. Getting ready for our new library, we want to get ideas.
I'll get you.
We got to get this new library. Some of the numbers we have for this month: visitor count 1,608, copies 610, faxes 473, and we have a wonderful program coming up. Councilman Hill, you probably would like this program. It is getting your estate in order, estate planning and workshop. We did attend the other program that I invited you to. But thank you. There is my report.
Thank you, Mr. Ashby. Are there any questions for Mr. Ashby? I do want to share also that the celebration for Mr. Ashby on Friday was incredible. The community abroad knows about Mr. Ashby's impact in Sharon Hill. We had County Council Chairman Richard Womack was here, Councilwoman Joanne Phillips came. We did receive some regrets, but from Speaker of the House Joanna McClinton and Congresswoman Mary Gates Ganlin, they also had other commitments, but they did not hesitate to just express their gratitude for his work and acknowledgement of his service. And we did have a great time. Like I said, community abroad, we had leaders from Collingsdale present, Yeadon Borough, and other places in the Commonwealth because he's serving in a statewide role. So again, thank you for your contributions, Mr. Ashby. Okay, so Chester Pike Corridor Improvement Partners, at this year, at last meeting, about our last meeting, the only update is that I will be submitting, as I talked about, Sharon Hill is going to apply for a grant on behalf of the Chester Pike Corridor Improvement Partners, which it happens like each of our municipalities, certain types of grants can't be submitted by the entity, it has to be a municipality. So this time Sharon Hill is doing the last one. We got a grant from Senator Anthony Williams' office in Norwood did that one for us, because Norwood and Sharon Hill are both, this is my brother, like, you gotta tell me something right now. He's like, I gotta tell you something. So we will submit that grant. We had our meeting today, and it is for a design plan for some streetscaping and beautification efforts down Chester Pike. So that is just a task from me, a takeaway. It's not going to impact the borough operations at all, but we will be using Sharon Hill's name. The other thing I'll share, okay, so I wanted to say I had an opportunity 2 times in the last couple of weeks to be over at the schools. I went to the Academy Park Black History Month showcase that they had on the last week of Black History Month, and it was quite amazing. The children, the talent that they showcased, their ability, it's like, wow, talented children, and their energy was definitely well received amongst themselves and by people like me who visited and were able to see it. So we're going to work on getting more of this kind of thing in front of the public so that if anyone wants to go over there and support the students, we're informed. And then the other thing was something that they do every year, which always brings me a lot of joy, is Read Across America. So I was over there on Monday and I read to the second grade class and they were so much fun. And I appreciated that. I know Councilwoman Deirdre Bradham also had a chance to read to students, and it's definitely a great experience. And to see how, for me, the way the children encourage each other, their teacher was great, that they actually had an ecosystem of encouraging each other. There was one kid who just refused to smile, and so someone decided to tell him a knock-knock joke, and before they got the joke out, he just started grinning. So that was encouraging to see children knowing how to relate to each other and uplift each other. So I was able to do that. There's also a notice that the borough received, and I thought it was in here, there's going to be some Amtrak work coming. Counselors, I believe all of us received that email. There's going to be some Amtrak work coming in, let me see, do you remember the date at all? Or is it up here? Okay, all right. But they've asked that, we share this out so homes that are near the tracks will be aware that there's going to be nighttime work and there will be noise while that work is going on. It's either March, I think it starts in May. It's not immediate. Hold on, we'll just look at it and tell you that other people was up here. March 30th through October 19th. So it's a long time. It's a lot of work. It says outages will be continuous with the majority of work occurring overnight. Residents should expect nighttime noise and lighting as Amtrak crews will be on site from approximately 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Crews will work in nearby neighborhoods and walk to their designated work locations. And Amtrak will coordinate with local police and fire departments as needed and will respond promptly to any nighttime concerns raised by residents. They will instruct all crews to minimize idling, maintain safe pedestrian pathways, and utilize directional lighting whenever feasible. So while this is going on and we have the notice, if there are any kind of disturbances outside of that, just let us know so we can contact our Amtrak people so they can do their best to not totally disrupt residents in the area. Other thing I wanted to report on was our YouTube channel. So we talked about in the last meeting moving away from Facebook. Just Facebook has changed the way they hold archive videos, and we want to also increase our reach to people who don't have Facebook accounts. And YouTube, you don't have to have an account to watch something, so we are going to be working to move to a YouTube platform. We have already posted the last meeting that we had. However, so that we can stream live, we need to have at least 50 subscribers. So does anybody have that? So on the wall right here, I just put them together and printed them out and hung them on the wall. If you want to just scan that QR code, it'll take you right to the YouTube page, and then you can just hit subscribe. So we get closer to being able to stream the meeting on YouTube as well. So if you don't scan, it's at Sharon Hill Borough is the handle for the YouTube page. Very last thing I have is about my open office hours. I do want to go back to a regular schedule for open office hours, and that is for anyone who hasn't come. I'll sit in this room. I've held them virtually as well on Zoom, and sometimes in the daytime, sometimes in the evening. But the effort is to just have an opportunity for residents to come in if there's some things that you want to report out on or share. We're here. I'm typically joined by a couple of other counselors, and Gary was actually here from Code last time. So keep an eye out for those, and please join us when they're posted, just to giving us insights on anything that's happening in your area that we might have missed or just hadn't had eyes on, or just to share ideas, anything. But those will go back to being more regular. And that's all that I have. Are there any questions for me? No? All right, well, thank you all for your attention. Moving right along, VP Hill for recreation.
Yes. Hello, everybody. How y'all doing?
Good, thank you.
How y'all feeling out there? Doing good? All right now. We're gonna give a shout out to Mr. Ashby with those underground Pumas he got on. He's doing a great job over there at the library. Okay, so we have an Easter event that's coming up in April. It will be April 18th in collaboration with our fire engine from 12 to 2. But before that, I had a great meeting with the chief. I want to thank Councilman Felder for putting that meeting together with the chief. And we're looking to, well, I'm going to say this. I will get back to the public and let them know what time the fire engine will be patrolling around the community with the Easter Bunny. Because I don't want to say the wrong time here and then people write that down that may be looking live. So I will get back to everybody. But the purpose is to, bring it back to our beautiful Fanta Ability Park right off of Chester Pike. And, just use that area with some games and giving out Easter baskets. Which we do every year. Last year, we gave out about 85 baskets. We had maybe only a few left. So we will promote it the same way through Facebook, and we're sending out Delco alerts. So if you don't have Delco alert, please download that. We're going to be advertising it around. I am accepting donations, candy donations, and you can drop those off here at the Borough between the hours of 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. We're accepting all donations, and this would actually help offset any cost on our end that we want to put out. We want to have fun that day. It's going to be, music, games, and the Easter Bunny is going to be there. I may sign Mr. Ashby up to be the Easter Bunny. I will not keep that as a surprise, but I'm going to, the other thing is we're going to be also gearing up to start sending out information for the Jalen Durham Skills and Drill Clinic, and more to come on that. So I will be, making that announcement out in our next meeting. What else? Mrs. Virgil did not forget you about the sewing club. She's not here? I'll have to tell you. Oh, hold on. No, my bad. These glasses. Take that back. But anyway, so we're looking to conduct a sewing club eventually. So more to come on that. And I think that's going to be amazing because the goal is to make things or come up with ideas that we can do inside the library. Mr. Ashby's going to bring all of his sewing machines.
As a matter of fact, we can get sewing machines for free.
That's what I'm talking about. See what I tell y'all. So to make things and come up with ideas that hold heart to this community. Things that people can take with them. Maybe some stuff that can, live for life, throughout life in this building, in our new building, that we're going to get, right? Okay. And so more to come on that. And I wanted to say, Madam President, that for the Bike to Pike, Reverend Reverend Martin said that we can use this lot. So, Madam President, she can tell y'all more about Bike to Pike. It's going to be a great event. But yeah, I just wanted to put that in. That's why I was tagging. So yeah, I mean, that's my report. I'm always looking for, volunteers to help out with our Easter celebration. It's coming up because, you got to see the expression on our little one's face when they get the baskets. We try to fill those baskets up with everything that we can. So if you want to drop off donation, you're more than welcome. Thank you, and that's my report.
Thank you, Councilman Hill. I have a comment. And what I wanted to say about, and you just mentioned volunteers, one of the things that was an issue when we used to have it in the park, the Easter egg hunt, is the little kids who kind of get run over by the big kids. So the call for volunteers that can help kind of structure and organize it would be very helpful, is very helpful call. We do need to, just so that it's a fun event for every child that's there. So thank you for adding that part. That was the only comment I was going to make. And then also thank you for reaching out to Reverend Martin about the use of the parking lot. So I had shared before about Bike the Pike, which is going to be on May 30th, launching from Sharon Hill at Memorial Park. And we just needed to get some parking that we could tell visitors that come to use. So we asked the church that's on the corner. So thank you for that follow-up.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions for VP Hill?
Just as an update for the Sewing Club, they're actually having a sync-up meeting next Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. And for information, please email Councilwoman Fleming. Your email address? Okay, yeah, the borough email.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Mayor Booker. Any other questions for VP Hill? All righty, thank you so much for your report. We'll move straight along. Councilwoman Bradham.
Good evening, Madam President, Council, Sharon Hill residents. It's a little hard to follow Mr. Hill. I'm sorry, Councilman Hill. So I'll do my best. Okay, we had our Meet Thy Neighbor event on the 21st of February, and it was a wonderful, wonderful event. We had a great crowd of people come out, one of our largest, and let me see, what am I moving now? That's the wrong meeting, sorry. And we had vendors, live band, and the band was Jeff Jones and the Jasmine. They played they played requests. The ladies and the gentlemen loved it. Okay, and now we have moved on to, also you'll see photos on the webpage for Sharon Hill Borough from our event. Okay, also you'll probably see people who have posted items also. Line dancing has begun. We have just completed our second week, and she has really been working us out. We've had a great time, but trust me, when we get home, we're exhausted. Okay, so we are midway. This is week number 3. Now let me tell you some of the dances we learned. Okay, we learned the D-Train Hustle, Groove Rock, KC, To Be Real, and Bring 'Em Out. Okay, so come on out. You can see YouTube all of these dances. So if you feel get a little practice in before you come, because we've done these, we're ready. Okay, so come ready, wear your sneakers. All right, we have people in heels. I don't know how they did it, but they did. All right. And coming up is jewelry making with Misty and Paul on the 21st of March. And I'm sorry, what was this? Oh, 1 to 3. It's a Saturday. 1 to 3, please register. Okay, because this is jewelry making. We really need to know how many people are coming so that we can have all the supplies needed so that everyone gets to meet. And you guys have seen, I've made, not these, I should have worn them, but I've made earrings and I always get compliments on them. I think we're going to try to do some brooches this go round. because that's the new thing which is an old thing, but it's come back around. Okay, so I'll get a chance to repair a couple of brooches, hopefully. And the next thing that we have on our agenda is that we have our 2 new commissioners ready to be sworn in. And that would be Monet Williams and Cheryl Shaw. And we are excited to have them on board. As a matter of fact, both of them were there for the Meet Thy Neighbor, and they just jumped in. I looked up and they were working too, so we definitely chose some great people. Okay, ladies ready? Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So on behalf of Sharon Hill Borough, it's an honor to preside over the swearing in of the new Art and Culture Commissioner. The Art and Culture Commission plays a vital role in enriching the cultural vitality, creativity, and community spirit of our borough. Through leadership, collaboration, vision, this position helps strengthen civic pride and expands the opportunity for artistic expression and cultural engagement within Sharon Hill. And I will first start off with Ms. Monet Williams. Will you please stand forward?
Left hand on the Bible. Raise your right hand.
Yeah.
Left hand on the Bible.
Right hand. I, Monet Williams, do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and I will discharge the duties of the office of Arts and Culture Commission for the Borough of Sharon Hill with fidelity and integrity. Thank you. Oh, that makes it easy.
You want a professional with you.
The second guy already got
Ms. Cheryl Shaw, can you please come forward?
Yes.
And right. I, Cheryl Shaw, do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and that I will discharge the duties of the office of Arts and Culture Commission for the Borough of Sharon Hill with fidelity and integrity.
Oh, God.
I cannot be as little. And please remember, we're always looking for volunteers for the Sharon Hall Art and Culture Commission. And we're always looking for suggestions, so please, feel free to either email me at the Borough email address or come out to one of our events and let us know some of the things that you're interested in doing. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Brabham. Any questions for Councilwoman Brabham on her SHAC report? Okay. And congratulations to our new commissioners. Thank you for joining the team. All right, we can move right along to Councilor Felder for Public Works and Fire Company.
I got the fire, Sharon Hill Fire Company report. I also have the monthly report. February Fire Chief report for 2026. Upcoming events, none. Notes. Smoke and carbon monoxide detectors are available for residents of Sharon Hill free of charge. Smoke detectors and 5 smoke detectors and 3 carbon monoxide detectors were handed out for the month. Please keep fire hydrants on your property free of obstruction, including vegetation and snow. Needs, there were none. Safety message, check your batteries and your smoke and CO detectors. Close your bedroom doors at night. This will prevent smoke and fire from entering rooms and giving you more time to escape. The monthly report for February 2026. Total incidents responded to, 71. Time in service, 33 hours and 35 minutes. Average personnel responding, 3. Incidents in Sharon Hill Borough. Automatic fire alarms, 13. Gas leaks, 5. Water in basement, 2. Vehicle accident, 1. Building fires, 3. Power lines down, 1. A child stuck in a swing, 1. Total incidents, 26. Assistance given and received. Darby Borough, Sharon Hill Fire Department assisted Darby 4 times, and they assisted us once. Fort Park Borough, we assisted them 8 times, they assisted us 16. Upper Darby Township, we assisted them once, and they assisted us none. Holmes Fire Company, Ridley Township, we assisted them no time, they assisted us once. Lansdowne Borough, we assisted them 5 times, they assisted us 0. Glen Nolan Borough, we assisted them 12 times, they assisted us 14. Darby Township, we assisted them 10 times, they assisted us once. Collingdale Borough, we assisted them once, they assisted us twice. Yeadon Borough, we assisted them 4 times, they assisted us 0 times. Total number of assisting others was 45 total. This report was done by our fire chief and respectfully submitted Joe Bourgeois. That concludes my fire report and our code report.
Before you go further, can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
In terms of the gas leaks, is that monthly?
If we could, let's just hold till his reporting is done, and then we'll just go to all questions for Councilor Felder.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, did you have separate numbers in
No,
here?
I don't have that part of the
Karen, you can do
Code.
yours on your code
Doing that?
official. Not now,
Oh,
on your official, thank you. Okay. So, okay. Councilor Fleming, your question for Councilor Felder?
Council Felder, I was asking, is the 5 gas leaks, normal for us to have that many in 1 month?
No, but with this cold weather, and I don't know if it was during that period of time, a lot of pipes decided to crack. Especially the old pipes, or it could be the joints around where they're connected. Weather plays a critical role in how pipes react and the temperature change.
In particular, on Elmwood Avenue, they're doing a mass change of gas pipes all up and down Elmwood Avenue, from Fallcroft Avenue down. I'm not sure how far down from Elmwood Avenue, from Fallcroft to Sharon Avenue. I believe they plan on doing retrofitting of the pipes. There was multiple pipes gas leaks during the freezing period. In particular, they changed mine out, so I'm one of those people. So they are changing pretty much everything down the line.
So it's centralized.
It's basically, it started further down, but actually started going all the way up, and a gas company is going out. Parking is closed on Elmwood Avenue from 9 to 5 p.m.
Can I just add something real quick? They're also moving the meters from inside your house to outside. So if yours is inside, you may receive a email or a call from Danella?
Yeah.
Yes, Danella, in reference to coming out to check out your home, so that they can see about moving that meter from the inside to the outside.
Okay. I didn't know that work was happening, and I'll say to residents, because they did that on my street some years ago, and I consented, and it's fine. However, it's an eyesore. I can't do things in the front of my house anymore because their meter is sitting right out front. What I learned from other residents is that you do have the ability to tell them where you prefer or if you don't want it, and I just went lower than nails in the front. I can't put nothing out there. So just, for anyone who's getting ready to go through that.
Before I pass my torch on, I just want to remind residents that we are going through a seasonal change and we are embarking upon spring. And with spring, all the animals and the insects and everybody wake up and come out of hibernation. So that means that they're going to be predating around in abandoned homes. So if you see any in your community, please let the borough know so that they can be cited for being closed and then make an enclosure on the property, because we had what they call raccoon problems prior, and they will be back. Trash containment. To help with the predators and the insects, we need to be more conscious of how we place our trash on the curb for pickup. Sometimes in those bags, if they're not strong, animals will get in them, especially in our sleeping hours. And if those guys come and pick up bags, the weight can actually bust them. So it would behoove us to at least try to place them in a container so that when they come, they pick up the container and dump the trash and not the bag. Also with that is our environment. We're going to have a lot of greenery growing, so that means the grass season will be returning. Environmental appearance enhances and contributes to a healthy and clean living space, and we all want that. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman Felder. Those are very timely tips. Thank you. Any other questions for Councilman Felder? Okay. Councilor Patrick?
Good afternoon, good evening, Madam President, Sharon, residents. Currently, I'm in the midst of generating a report working with the South Delco School District as the liaison for the borough. we still haven't linked up and got in sync as of yet, but that's a work still in progress. I did reach out through the borough office, and I have not heard back from them. So I'm still working on that with Ms. Ruby as far as getting some traction on that. But I am working with some young men to get them to get involved in the Sharon Hill Junior Council. I have three juniors and one seniors. I'll be following up. They all have applications, and I'm looking to get them to make a commitment any day now. So the names are Mr. Conway, y'all on the track team, Mr. Victor, Mr. Ali, and Mr. Yankee. So we'll be hearing from them shortly. And due to the weather, and I think that it's important for the community to encourage young people to get involved in the Sharon Hill Junior Council, because I literally had to sit down and have a man-to-man talk with these young fellas as far as getting involved in the future of Sharon Hill and give them some examples of how they can impact the future with their ideas. So that's the road that I'm going to pursue. My next strategy is to start going to the schools in the morning and reach out through the office and post bulletins and see if I can get to them that way. And then also showing up at the track field when they start doing their track practices. Because I think that's really the push that's going to be needed, to have an entity from the borough, a face which would be myself, reach out to them and get things going. That's my report.
Thank you, Councilman Patrick. And then you'll share with us event dates so that we can also support the students.
Yes, I'll be giving step-by-step, blow-by-blow progress on my success. I think that I can impact that situation in a positive way. And being that they're young men, and I was a young man myself in that same situation, I get some traction on getting that thing going.
Fantastic. Dates though, like when you have like your meetings and stuff like that, just, we can post it to support the kids. That'd be great. I do want to share though, at our last meeting, the principal from Academy Park did attend and share out about the showcase. I did send to your email his contact. Councilor Patrick let us know tonight that he's having issues with his email. So that's probably why you don't have his contact yet. But between the principal from the high school and you're connecting with the district and the school board president, I think you should get one person that's committed to sharing information with you that you can share back with the community.
Exactly.
So if there's anything that any of us can do to help, you have the assistant principal right there, so she can help get us some information. But thank you for your report. Anyone have any questions for Councilman Patrick?
Councilman Patrick, so if you need my help, I'm here for it. I think that's a good idea with trying to meet them at ground level.
That's what got me out of Richard Allen.
Yeah.
I had somebody
Same
to be honest with you.
That's a place.
And, not to throw any stones, but if they have a living, breathing example of what the potentials are, I think that could make the difference. And then they have the benefit of all this experience of the council to pour into them.
I agree.
Yes, sir.
Awesome, thank you very much. Okay, so before we move forward to officials updates, I did not, at the time of Councilwoman Smith swearing in, I did not appoint her as a liaison, so I would like to appoint Councilwoman Smith as our personnel liaison. So Councilwoman Smith will work with our solicitor on some of the continuation of some of the work that Councilman Patrick had started with regard to updating our handbook and any other personnel matters that we have. You're quite welcome, thank you. Okay. From here, we will jump right into our officials updates. Mayor Booker, good evening.
Greetings, everyone. Had a wonderful moment there just now. Thank you. Right now, there was no Derby Creek Joint Authority meeting in the past week. There was previously. So there's nothing to report there. So in particular, I have 3 items. To Sharon Hill Police Department stats for 2026, February. Assaults 1, burglaries 0, warrant services 3, domestic disputes 40, thefts 7, weapon offenses 1, narcotics 2, service calls, alarms 53, medical assist 61, assist other police 22, building checks 137, vehicle stops 15, traffic citations 13, accidents 17, abandoned vehicles 2, parking tickets 42, criminal arrests 4. In particular, I want to put a bright shining star on some of the wonderful things our police officers are doing. Last month, there was an incident with a youth that was undergoing a mental health crisis. In particular, this youth had a knife and had locked himself in a room. 2 of our officers, and thankfully to their wonderful skills and trainings, were able to de-escalate the situation and actually talk the young man into dropping the knife and successfully coming out of the room and saving that life and just offering that safe clarity and kindness that our officers are showing to make sure that people are coming out of rough situations. Life happens and things happen with people, and knowing that our officers care as much as they do is a wonderful thing. So I just want to make sure to highlight just some of the great work that they are doing on a day-to-day basis to make sure our community is safe.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chief. One other. Sharon Hill Police Department responded to 603 calls for service for the month of February 2026. Also in particular, I'm actually going to put these in the back. On Saturday, March 21st at 10 a.m., there is a chat and chew session for veterans. So if there's any veterans that are curious about their benefits for their family and spouses, they can come over to First Avenue Baptist Church, 901 Clifton Avenue, and they can come there, occurs again at March 21st, and be able to ask questions about veteran services. So active and retired veteran services. So thank you. Thus ends my report.
What time is it?
That is 10 a.m., March 21st. That's Saturday.
Thank you, Mayor Booker.
Pleasure.
Are there any questions for Mayor Booker? I do have some questions for you, either you or the chief, regarding parking tickets and vehicle stops. So I know that we have talked about parking tickets. I wondered what efforts our department can make to increase the number of, so not just increase the number of parking tickets, just start issuing tickets, because I'm still seeing a lot of cars that are parked all the way to the corner, on the curbs of Poplar Street. And that really does impact the children's ability to walk to school when the cars are parked on the curb and they're there for days at a time. And so if there are efforts that the department can make to go ahead and just issue more parking tickets as the violations continue. And then I did want to say that at the corner of Garvin and Poplar, and then no one stops at the stop sign there. No one stops at those stop signs.
On
And
Poplar.
that's the street where, I see the most, but I can say that probably throughout our neighborhood, we're having a lot of people blowing these stop signs. So anything that the department can do to maybe monitor some of those areas that we have awareness to where there's the, constant violation of the stop sign would be good.
Yeah, no problem. I'll put it on our list. Also, in particular, just in regards to parking, they have spent a great deal of time increasing the number of parking tickets. We increased our number by about 10. And it may seem like it's not so much, but they're actively going out and pursuing basically any request to make sure that parking is safer. So
Thank you.
that is an active opportunity they're taking advantage of.
I see that increase, so thank you.
There's more to do, but they are being very vigilant. I'm very proud of those guys.
I had 2 questions on the
Sure.
report. I'm wondering if there's any insight on the peak for the alarms. It looked like we had 20 more than what we had last month. I'm wondering if there's any insights there. That's insight. And then the second question, Chief, can you give a little bit more description, just for my edification on building checks? Like, is that just going to check buildings? What is that?
Absolutely. With the alarms, we see an increase in alarms with the weather. Weather affects alarms, especially businesses, power outages, so forth. As you know, this past month we had some bad weather. Especially during the springtime as well, we'll see it again. The trees down, wires down, wind blowing, stuff like that. We see the increase in not only business but residents as well. As far as building checks go, every officer is required to conduct at least one. Not more building checks, random building checks of different areas, different businesses, residents' houses during the shift. That's basically, could be anything from a closed business checking doors, middle of the night, make sure it's locked and secured, to, I'll say the 7-Eleven, actually going inside and making contact and talking to the business owners to make sure it's okay to shut it around.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Mayor Booker? Okay, thank you very much. Borough Solicitor, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam President. Not a whole lot to report. I think I forgot to report at last meeting that prior to the legislative meeting, I did meet with Code Director Mr. Collins, and we went through the property maintenance code section by section, line by line. So we have a fairly comprehensive list of some questionable provisions and some suggestions for making some changes. So the plan is for me to essentially outline those suggestions in simpler form and present it to you in either a memo or an email, whatever you prefer. That way I can receive your feedback on some of those suggestions, and then also determine whether we want to proceed to reducing it down to ordinance form for kind of a wholesale property maintenance code overall, given that, again, the spring's right around the corner, and hopefully we can avoid some of these issues with high weeds and grass and come up with some creative solutions to move forward those objectives. Additionally, if you haven't yet replied to my inquiry regarding the short-term rental ordinance or Airbnb VRBO, please let me know. Even if you have no feelings on the matter, just let me know one way or another. That way we can kind of move those changes or prospective changes forward. And similarly, I can outline those in outline form before moving anything to a draft amendment. Other than that, general day-to-day tasks, a couple of these affidavits of posting and sort of administrative, ministerial activities, reviewing and monitoring some right-to-know requests and responding accordingly. And as always, monitoring some active litigation from past and present. So just try to keep abreast of any developments. So that's it for me.
Thank you. Any questions for our solicitor?
Yes, the first report you did was for the building code.
Property maintenance.
Property maintenance,
Yeah.
sorry about that. I know you always ask, when you send it for us to look at options and stuff.
Sure.
So just from a legal standpoint and benefit to the borough, I mean, it'd be nice to send all of that, but can you highlight the ones that that you think as our solicitor will actually cover us, just in case something happens,
Sure.
And then also we know the ones that are not highlighted, or if it's highlighted in a different color, we can look at those and maybe have a conversation around that.
Sure.
To bring everything together to get back to you. Would that be possible?
Absolutely.
And as far as with the Airbnb, I know we've been talking about this for weeks. I know I responded with my thoughts around what you sent out. I'm not sure if any of the other councilors sent their opinions and on what they had to say, but how close are we to just nailing something down from whatever councilor sent their comments, and how close are we to coming to a resolution of coming up with something that's going to protect us all the way around.
So obviously to amend in an ordinance, we would need the majority of council's approval. And I would say at this time, I don't have enough input to put together to propose a solution that would be something that we could move forward and would be agreeable. So I'm just hoping to gather a bit more input as possible.
Right. So you don't have, like, everybody didn't respond to it?
Correct.
Everything? Okay.
And I'm available to discuss it over the phone. However, anyone wants to communicate with me, or again, if folks just don't feel especially passionate about making any changes, then that's certainly a reasonable answer as well.
So I would say that we're not gonna hold your progress up. So I think if you give us a timeline till end of this week or maybe end of next week to get everyone to weigh in, and then you can go ahead and do your synthesis of feedback you get. Council, I do think that we should reconvene and look at all of the feedback, and then give Kyle some targeted direction on how we want it to look before we come back to the table to present it to be amended. So, Kyle, does that sound reasonable? Because I don't want us to hold your progress up for the lack of responses.
No, I think that's fine. Obviously, for sunshine considerations, we don't want to have too many discussions with more than 3 councilors at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But we could certainly put together a short-term rental temporary committee to discuss, and then with maybe two or three participants, and then moving forward from there.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions for Kyle?
I would just say if you're waiting longer than you should be, just to reach back out to everybody and say, like, as a reminder.
Sure.
I'm sure I know Councilwoman Flemings and myself, and I think Councilman Gavin, did you respond to the? Okay. All right. So, but yeah, like, whatever comments you have now, it's basically what Madam President said. Whatever you have, just move forward with that. But like, whenever we're in these situations, just reach back out and say, hey, everybody, I've been waiting 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 15 months. Can I get a response?
Point of clarification, I know at the meeting, prior meeting, we had a 10-day timeline for turnaround. When that's not met, just since I'm still so new, I'm trying to understand what is our procedure. Do we hold on like you're doing now, or because I know we had a 10-day timeline that we all agreed on?
So we don't have an actual procedure in place, but it is fair to say that having something static that we know so that whoever's waiting knows what to do next is a fair ask. And so we did have a 10-day timeline. Thank you for that reminder, because I did, we actually did put a time frame on that. But we're here outside of the 10 days, and I would say if it's acceptable for Kyle and those who have responded, if we will extend to is due till tomorrow fair to those who hadn't had a chance to weigh in yet, so that we can get the ball rolling, because we did go past our deadline. And then our procedure we can establish that whomever is holding the ball or waiting for other people, just move forward. And unless you go back, like BP said, like coming back to remind people.
Sure.
I think I did see a reminder go out once, but yes, I feel like we don't have an established procedure, but it's fair to say next steps should just be taken once we outside of our time.
And as a reminder, there is an ordinance currently in effect.
Mm-hmm.
So the default is already there. So it's not that we're not missing anything. It's just a matter of fine tuning it if council so desires.
Yeah, we do need to fine tune, that's what we had found, right, with the reaction and response from our building code official and the residents, right? That there was room for refinement. Yeah? Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other questions for Kyle? All righty. So we will move right along. We don't have, Madam Borough Manager, I don't see a report from our engineer or the building code official. I checked my email, I didn't get one from them. Okay, so if we could just follow up with them on their reports, because we would need that before, next meeting, so people can ask questions, have questions prepared for them. Okay, so we'll move along to our code enforcer. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. President, councilors, manager, and residents. Okay, so I'd like to start off by saying, I'm very excited. I am, somebody call me a coach nerd. So I'm very excited because coming up in May is what they call Building Safety Month. So I was in the municipality before, and what we do is we have by proclamation, we have made the month of May annual Building Safety Month, and it's a month where we have workshops and different things. Every week there's something different. So before I get into my report, I'd like to read some of the release on the building safety. So hopefully we can bring it here because it is a big deal. So it's presented by the International Code Council, ICC, which is the premier certification. If you have an ICC certification in our field, you are considered an expert. So again, let me read from it. So the International Code Council 2026 Building Safety Month is for all ages. Building Safety Month is an annual public awareness campaign led by the International Code Council. It returns on May 1st, 2026, with this year's theme, Built to Last is the name of the thing. So that they give us posters, they give us things to hand out. It's pretty much set up. The campaign highlights how modern building codes, safety professionals, and resilient construction practices protect homes and communities around the world. Each year, the ICC, its members, and global communities celebrate building safety through proclamations, educational events, and community gatherings. So we want to bring that sort of thing here to Sharon Hill Borough. This year's weekly themes are Week 1, Safe Homes, Strong Communities. Week 2, Voices of the Built Environment, spotlights building safety professionals and the roles they play in keeping communities safe. Week 3, Prepare to Protect, encourages community preparedness and highlights how disaster resilient building codes protect people and property. Week 4, Communities Without Limits. This showcases the importance of accessibility in building constructions and design. Building Safety Month reinforces our members' ongoing commitment to creating safe, resilient communities, said Mike Cosio, ICC Building Board of Directors President. While May shines a spotlight on building safety, our work to protect where we live, work, and play continues year-round. So building safety is a big thing year-round. Obviously, we want to be safe. So hopefully we can get that proclamation. I will give as much information as possible. I'll be sending you guys a lot of stuff. I know I sent a bunch of stuff. I'll be sending a lot of stuff. I'm excited about building safety month. Let me go back. All right, so now I get into my report. All right, Sharon Hill Borough Monthly Code Enforcement Report for the month of February 2026. Property Maintenance Code. All right, citations. This really didn't change. We're waiting for court dates, and a lot of people have withdrawn. A lot of cases have withdrawn. Citations for court 20 active. I'm waiting for the date. 16 withdrawn tickets. Tickets issued for the month of February, we issued 53 tickets. 34 of those was snow and ice violations, so there was a lot of snow and ice violations. I was out for a little bit, but even when I came back, there's still a lot of snow and ice in some different places. So 34 of those were snow and ice. Objectionable accumulations. This is just debris in someone's yard, so it was 10 of those, and no trash receptacles. We are having an issue with people just put the bags on. They have to be, we spoke about it earlier, they have to be in containers. You should have a lid on it, but at the very least, it should be in containers. If you sit the trash out, obviously animals get in it, so animals, stuff like that. So this is something that it seemed like it's, obviously it seemed like it's an uptick in it. So I don't know if the borough, do people get their own trash cans? Do we, how we do that? But it definitely needs to be in receptacles. That's an issue. We had 5 tickets paid this month. I'll talk about that a little further down. Complaints founded. 22 complaints were founded. 1 complaint unfounded, didn't have any, it was nothing. Abated by owner. So we had 53 tickets that were given out this month. We had 100% of the people abated. So when I ticketed them, they got out there, they got the snow up, or they picked up trash. When I went back for my reinspection, so that was pretty good. Abandoned vehicles, you had 12 of those, 2 of them got towed. The rest of them got abated, they moved the vehicles and fixed the problem. So insights, high enforcement activity, obviously we had 53 tickets, it reflects active monitoring, so we're monitoring to make sure that people are, in compliance. Payment rate, Sharon Hill Borough payment rate for this month, 9.43%. It's very low. We went up to 60%. One month it was 100%. This is low because of the weather. Like as we were saying, we were speaking, it was very cold. People just couldn't come out. So just today, I believe Ms. Ruby received about 10 people came in and paid, so I believe as the weather get nicer, we'll get back up to those payment numbers. People were stuck in. So it was down low. Complaint validity. Consistently, we have strong accuracy in resident reporting. Almost every time, kudos to the residents. 9 times out of 10, when they report something, it is a violation. So vehicle issues. So 1401 Chester Pike, Speed Star Mini Mart. Right? We've been working on that parking lot and having cars there and truck trailers and stuff. So 1401 Chester Pike, Speed Star Mini Mart parking lot is now fully cleared. The owner was notified the owner that if he wanted to have that as a separate building, he would have to have a land development or zoning approval required to establish that as a separate business. Just can't collect rent and even a parking lot, we have to inspect that as well because parking lots have lighting, so you have a commercial electrician check that. Every so many spaces you have to have handicap parking. So this stuff is, you just don't make a parking lot and allow people just to do it. All right, so we've addressed that. Parking lot is clear. CVS parking lot. So we pulled one of the trucks, one of the big box trucks. 3, I posted. I'm working in coordination with CCC. So we're trying to get a better system, come out faster, that kind of thing. And I'm working with the chief, the police chief, Sharon, so we're still trying to get a better process. And when we call the people out through the tow truck, they give me a report, and sometimes the report, it was required that I have to give my ID, and it was just slow the process down. So the chief came up with a paper process that I could fill out. I could just deliver it to him, and we could just do the car. That's pretty good. I'm happy you brought that. Okay, so we had an issue at 78 Ridley Avenue. Somebody dumped the entire house. It was everywhere. Mattresses, furniture, TVs, all over the sidewalk, all over the side of the house. It was crazy. I sent you guys some pictures. But miraculously, after I went there, posted it, stated it, started my citation, I went there yesterday, in the business that day, and it was still powered up. When I went there today, everything was gone. I mean, it's squeaky clean. They cleaned the entire day. I couldn't find the place. I drove because it was so much stuff. It's all gone. So, good. So that was done. All right. So I was gonna try to have it abated and all that on Friday. There's no need to do that. So now, revenue impact. I am revising the borough's fees and fines. Me and Caucus working together. That's some of the stuff he's talking about. The grass and different ordinance. The proposal, my proposal, I will be submitting to the Caucus next week. So I'm putting it down. There's a few things I've spoken with Borough Manager that I'm gonna check into too. But I'll have that to you from my end next week. And then if you need to talk about it, after that we can. So hopefully, I guess it will be April or whatever, April then. All right. So that respectively concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Yeah, I have a couple questions. Thank you for all of that report, all of your report and the insights. I had a few questions already on your report, but your explanations clarified all the questions that I had. So I'm going to start with the last thing you said about you guys working together on ordinances and with grass season coming. Like Councilor Felder said, we had talked before about changing our ordinance from the 12 inches to 10 inches on the grass, and then I think this would be the time to do that.
So
we have the time.
It's actually 10 inches.
It's 10 inches. We want to lower it.
It should be 6 inches.
Yes.
My borough is 6 inches.
Yeah.
10 inches.
Right. Right. Yeah. So we wanted to lower it, and I just wanted to put that back on the radar so that by the time grass cutting season, that what y'all are already working on. All right. Cool. And then thank you for all of the updates you had sent on the cars and everything. I wanted, Madam Borough Manager, we could work on a way to, like we talked before about a drive or a place where we can go to and see. There's a lot of emails. And we can get a place where he could just leave his updates and then the councilors could, click on it and see them all in one place. We just put it out there and then we can find a way. And then additionally, this might be an opportunity to have the reports while the packet, as Council Fleming was talking about, wouldn't be ready on a Friday or a Monday, but as the reporting comes in, we can just drop them in there. If people want to start looking ahead of the packets being prepared, that might be an opportunity for us to just start putting things in one place. But I'm very grateful for all of the insights that you gave and all of this work around code. Does anyone else have questions for Council?
Yes, I have one.
Mr. Collins?
I appreciate you, man. You're doing a wonderful task. The citation part that could relate to the rest. I see you said it was 20 active waiting for a date, and 16 withdrew. Is it the 16 that withdrew out of the 20?
No, it was the 20 plus the 16.
Okay, so like 36.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I had two questions. Oh, it's not
Were you done, Councilor?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
That was my quick question about the breakdown. I'm wondering, what's the breakdown, the email you sent us, and it was the second time. Is that the Tahoe? Which car you said?
The truck.
The truck?
No, she's referring to, yes, the code vehicle that you sent, it's a Ford. She's asking which car. It's the Ford Focus.
Is there any indication, since that was the second time, how that's impacted budget in terms of the repairs, since it was in one line and two breakdown of the same vehicle?
So, to quickly answer your question, that was one of the requests that I had, just trying to get a full inventory on and maintenance schedule for our equipment, so we know what's at the end of its lifespan. The particular issue with this vehicle, I'm trying to get clarity around, because to Mr. Collins' point, it was just in the shop. Was the repair related to this current breakdown, or was it something different? Those are still things that I'm waiting to hear back from the vendor on. I've contacted them twice already, haven't received anything, so the next move will be to visit the establishment and try to get some clarity. And then at that point, I think it would be a discussion on whether or not the effort is worth it to continue to put into a vehicle which may be at the end of its lifespan, depending on the age.
Right, I think, and I don't know anything about cost. I think the point I'm making is the impact on our budget, and it's one of the reasons I'm asking for budgeted versus actuals in our reporting, because when I looked at the list of bills, I saw a few things for repairs, so I'm just wondering, have we thought about like what that impact would be on us having a tight budget, getting those kind of repairs, stuff like that?
And that's understandable. I think some of the repairs, though, are equipment that we may not be able to repurchase at this present time. So in order to render the service, we get caught in a catch-22 of, do we just repair it while we plan and wait for the revenue? But you make a good point, and I'll make sure that the treasurer understands the direction we're looking for as it relates to the budget and his report.
But what is the year and the mileage on this particular vehicle?
I don't know offhand. I would have to find, I'll have to look in for the inventory sheet that was used during the last audit.
Now, that's not the one they used to call the Jitney, is it?
Yes.
It is? Yeah.
It's the gray Ford Focus that sits outside.
I've been stickler for inventory of our equipment for a minute, that would keep a proper record of what's done, not done, and where we need to go. But everything, as everything else, it's hard to keep up with governmental efficiency. So,
Two things. One, Chief, are you able to talk to Serenos and ask them to respond to Joy's asks about the repairs?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you for that. And then the other thing is, Joy, if you wanted to, share about your alternate plan for while the car is down in the other truck. So in the interim, we do have another truck that Highway uses, and the plan is to allow Mr. Collins to be able to use that vehicle so that he can continue to do the work. And we're hoping to be able to roll that out on Monday. I know I told you tomorrow, but I just need a little more time. It's all right. We'll work it out. Friday is a possibility. Okay, thank you. Sorry, Gary, that was two things on the car situation. The other thing was about the gas at the library. Where are we with getting to resolving that situation?
Well, when they first smelled the gas over there, I spoke with the fire department, had them go over and it happened twice, maybe more. So I think at least 2 calls, maybe more. They couldn't find the leaks inside, but they did recently. The last time they went, they found a leak outside
Yes.
of the library. So from their reading, it doesn't seem like we need to evacuate the library.
Right.
We still use the library, but we do need to get the leak addressed.
Yeah, so that's the question. Yeah, the chief, is everybody familiar with the leak at the library?
No.
So there was a smell of the odor of gas on a couple of occasions. The fire company did respond on both occasions. And on the second time, they asked that they turn up the heat, and they found that when the unit is turned on and turned up is when the leak occurs. And so I did ask the fire chief that would it require us to evacuate the building. He said no, but he did send recommendations to replace the unit. So then where are we with anything with regard to replacing or repairing the unit?
I don't have that answer. to that
Okay.
question, we'll have to
Is it that section of the pipe that was displayed that needs to be replaced?
Yes.
Where it was jointed?
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of those wear out anyway.
I'm not sure, Councilor Felder, that it's just that might be a part of it. However, the fire chief did give specific recommendations to fix it. That we need to get like an HVAC person, I think, in here. I will forward it out, his recommendations. So that in addition to what you're speaking of, there was something else that he was saying we should replace.
I think the whole line probably needs to be pushed out and replaced. Because the pipe is that old metal, that galvanized stuff. And that's the stuff that breaks and cracks. And it's outside. Well,
And it was rough, this rough winter, because these temperatures were.
yeah.
The chief's recommendation was to have the heating unit serviced and all gas piping from the meter to the unit inspected, fixed, and replaced. So in addition to what you just said, having the heating unit serviced. So just so that we make sure that is on the list of items to do.
Well, with the, I don't know, our insurance coverage, gas company, would they have any bearing on helping us replace that?
Good question, I'm not certain. The outside part, since it's outside,
Well, it depends on what coverage you got. If it's outside, they should be able to do, like, from this point to this point, and we may be accountable for inside to that point. But I don't know if we have that coverage. But if not, we probably need to look into it, because I don't, I mean, even though the fire company is right there. With gas,
Okay,
I have a
so
question. How do you tell the difference between an abandoned vehicle and a vehicle that is just parked in front of your house for about a couple of months without moving?
Well, the title says abandoned vehicle, but that doesn't necessarily mean the vehicle is abandoned. In the ordinance, it could be that the vehicle has bad stickers. It can have broken windows, flat tires. It can be harbor roads. Any of that makes it dangerous, so the sticker says abandoned, but it could be a myriad of different reasons why that's the difference.
So it's the condition of the vehicle,
It's the
essentially.
condition of the vehicle.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep, thank you.
You're welcome.
yes, thank you, Gary. And while we're talking about abandoned vehicles, I will say to residents and neighbors, when you have a car just sitting outside, let us know, because to what Councilor Felder said earlier, the season changing, we've had cars that sat on blocks that were actually nests for rodents. So it is important that we know where they are, so Gary can go ahead and get them removed. So please report when you see them. All right, moving right along, Police Chief Sharon, good evening.
Good evening, thank you. I'll report next meeting on updates for the training and so forth. I will just do a quick update. I'm just American with more details. Everyone sees fit. We did receive a quote for the Howard Park. I forwarded that to Mayor Hooker. We in Ohio, roadways, and see fit. I did speak with the company. The system is very close to exactly what we need. Everything we asked for is there. They agreed, we're talking to them. They, as of now, they only want cash money as of now, but the American didn't know that. Grant money down, and they have agreed to waive for us to Sharon Borough any subscriptions or service fees. Either monthly fees or yearly subscription fees. I know the ones company we looked at was very high. Extremely high for every year. This company's agreed to waive those fees for us. Not just for 1 year, but your whole life. They'll be ours. They'll be ours. Some of the highlights. So I did ask about your question. It is a web-based program where you can log in on Basements they dumbed it down for me on my computer. Basically, you have an icon on your computer, you click on it, use your approved user, username, password, so you can go into the catalog. The approved user will be set up by myself, our manager, for this to review it. If not, our officers will be able to access the station of the live feed. We'll also be fed to the investigator's office, camera feed, and to all their MDTs that are down in terminals inside the vehicles. We're going to play back, record. If there's an incident 2 weeks prior, we can go back and do that incident, download the footage from that. Camera had, I believe it's 2 camera heads or something with 4 different lenses on it, each of them, so it's all that whole area. 360. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah, full 360 view. I can capture all content.
And we can also add tests. We see fit. We look at it for a few months and we want to add more cameras to the system at that park, get better views, we do that as well. So they've been very good with us, kind of told them exactly what we wanted, what we needed, and they seem to be working well with us. I thought, like I said, I know you can't put it on tonight or whatever, but the mayor has it. I just got it to my guys on the other day, so I'm sure we'll submit that to you all.
Okay, thank you. What's the cost?
Well, the high cost, not the one we're getting, was $40,000.
Yeah, when I did that.
Yeah, exactly. This one particularly is somewhere between $18,000 and $19,000.
And we had the grant from the CBRA. That's almost half of that. Okay, if we can.
And there's no service charge, which is actually, I think, the biggest benefit, because as we pay, we're locked in.
Yeah.
Like I said, the other fee is, it was a great system, more than what we need. And when I found out that $6,000, that's when I called on that one. I didn't go any further. I got something for you.
Right.
So I find myself pulled up on that one.
Okay.
So thank you. Thank you.
Okay, cool. So two other questions. With what we have, and then you'll share with us. So first thing is, before we go forward with agreements and stuff, can we make sure Kyle gets a hold of it so that he can review any contracts or anything before we agree to it? And then how are we looking for timeline? Because we really wanted to target getting this up for spring opening of the park and stuff.
Once they receive, I guess they need half down. Once they receive the half down, they will order the equipment. They said they should be very quickly. They will put it back to us, and they're looking at possibly
Chief, does the equipment, do they install or is that, okay, perfect.
Basically, they come out, they install everything, and once it's all installed, they test it. They have a quick training with us, and give us the keys.
Okay.
Chief, I know we spoke about when I asked you about inside the snack stand.
I mentioned
that?
that's not including in this. That's something they can add.
Okay.
For not too much, and they're going to give me back to you that adding that.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's
I
pretty
did
good.
that.
Now, there is one caveat. We will have to have service provider to support the internet service for it. I know we talked about having internet service within the snack stand. Since we actually kind of we don't, that would be the only cost to the borough would be, of course, having internet service for the snack stand to facilitate the system.
So then if we could give to Madam Borough Manager, I guess somehow getting us a cost for adding internet at the park. I'm not sure. I mean, we probably did. But we could look into what that would look like so that systems can be ready to go when we get to this.
Another question, I think I heard you right, I just want to be clear. Did you say we would have the capacity to go back up to 2 weeks if anything happened?
I believe it's actually 30 days. 30 days at least at minimum. I just use 2 weeks as an example. Okay. So, like, the officers received, an incident up there, and they said, it happened 2 weeks ago, we can go back. And I think you search at the incident. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for the chief? Alrighty, thank you, Chief Barron. Okay. Marina Borough Manager, has the treasurer sent an update at all?
Yes, he will not be able to make it this evening, so his report stands are submitted.
Okay. I have questions on the bills list, so I'm gonna pose the questions, and then, we can get them to him. He might have some insights or answers on some of them. There's a bill on page 2 for Ease Supreme Service, and it has 2 bills for the borough, and then 2 for the library. I'm not certain what that is. Actually, 4 for the library, dating back from, the libraries, oh my gosh, the libraries are 4 bills, all for February, same date, with different dollar amounts. Do you know what that service is?
I do not, I'm highlighting them.
So,
It's all of them, correct?
So the first 2 date back to October and November of 2025, and they say borough on them. And then the others all have the same date, February, different totals, and they say the library. We're not aware what those charges are for. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Those are the pay dates, the February dates. So they for the library, they go back to October, 2 for October of 25, and 2 for November of 25, with different totals.
6.
There's a payment for Jeffrey Jones on here. I'm not certain who that is. Is that for one of our?
Victims is shot, I think.
Okay. All right. So typically he kind of started consolidating, like under different departments he goes for. Okay. I have on page 4, and then again on page 6 or 7 or something. I don't know. 6. Anyway, we have Handley on here, and we also have Quarles Petroleum, and I wonder, do we really have 2 different oil or providers?
Quarles Petroleum is your question, right? And then the second vendor was who?
I did it reverse. Yes, Handley, who's on page 3, and it's for fuel delivery. And then there's Quarles Petroleum on page 4, and it doesn't say fuel delivery; it just says invoices. But it sounds like 2 different oil vendors. I don't have insight on those, but I'm working. Okay, thank you.
Quarles is the gas.
Oh, yeah.
Cars.
The gas vendor.
The gas cars. Sorry.
The gas cards.
The gas
is for the police.
cars.
Police cars.
Police, code enforcement highway, that's what it is.
Y'all ain't driving this much. That's a lot of gas.
So,
Okay, but it clarifies my question.
There is a report for Quarles. There is a report. I have seen the report. I do have some questions about frequency on some of the trips, but other than that, everything else seems to be very
Okay. So that does
But
answer
let
my
me
questions too. One is like fuel. One is like, pearl fuel, and yeah, the other one is gas. But yeah, let's look at that. That's a lot for cars. Yeah. The other thing, also police, Sudsy.
That's the car wash up here. It's monthly.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of car wash.
It's 1 fee for a whole month and we get unlimited.
So that's for all the cars once a month. This
Yeah,
is
you know, unlimited.
fees.
You can get it washed every day if you want to.
All right, y'all cars nice, looking nice to them. Okay. And then I did one other. It's not on the bills list. However, I do know that we had notice of an outstanding bill to the person who prepares our sewer tax calculations, and I don't see his name on the bill list.
yes. Yes, you don't see his name on here, but I believe he's in the queue to be paid. There are some checks that need to be done.
Okay. All right. So do we? You can tell me later, but I want to just make sure, like in the queue, that means like tomorrow or very soon thereafter.
Soon. Very soon.
All right. Yeah. We did get a notice about that. All right. Those were all of the questions that I had. Counselors, do you have other questions on the bill, please?
In particular, there was the invoice from the fire company. It's none there. It was particular invoices. Tanya, I think you were on the email.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if those match.
I'm not sure which email you need.
There was an invoice for. I'm sorry. I have
It's an old bill, though.
Yeah, it's old bills that need to be caught up.
Okay, so that was from the December meeting that we had. Is that what you're asking? Are those or is it something else?
There should be a few of them. I tried to reach out to get more information on, but I hadn't seen anything. So I'll follow up after the meeting. I want to delay. I want to get more information, make sure everything. Maybe there's something that happened that I just missed out on.
Okay.
Manager, I'm glad you earlier you acknowledged, and I wanted to just say again to the record that it would be really great for us to receive the budget to actual reports if we can relay that. Another request I'd like to have is it possible for council to have a chart of accounts? I realize that we're having conversations about grants and other things, and we don't receive that information, so I'm not sure what those funds are. So hopefully that could be a part of like a way of processing a fuller financial report for us to review. Thank you.
I found it. It was the 2025 unpaid invoices. I'm not sure if they had been dealt with. They were from January.
Yes, the chief had confirmed that there were about 10 of them.
Mm-hmm.
We had alignment, confirmed alignment on about more than just about over half of them. I don't remember. I have to look at the folder, and then I'll check back with Will on the other ones.
I see a few invoices here that may map to those, but I just wanted to check with Will and see to be sure if those were in.
Which invoices these?
There was fire company invoices. I think something totaling for $3,000.
On the bill, please?
Yeah. It's 3,600.
Fire hydrant.
They wouldn't be billed for the fire hydrant, but that is on here. This is probably, the hydrant is on here, but
That's different.
they don't get that bill.
Yeah, I don't. No, I don't even talk about that. That's a source of.
Council, did you see something else for the fire company? I didn't notice it when I reviewed it.
She was my own.
No, that's pretty short.
Oh no, that was a. Yeah, there isn't anything. I thought there should be one.
Okay. So, Councilor Felder, have you gotten any invoices or in your box for review? Okay.
You think I recall what the chief already explained to us, right?
Yeah. So we're at March now, so any bills coming to the borough for the fire company should be going to Councilor Felder's inbox. In duplicate, not to hold them up from being processed, but so that he has awareness of the bills for the fire company. We can work on that process. Any other questions that we can take away for the treasurer? Okay. All right. Thank you, council. And Madam Borough Manager.
All right.
Good evening, everyone. To start off my report, before you in your packet is proposed legislation for an ordinance, to add an ordinance to address handicap parking in the borough. This is a document that I would like for all of council to look at and review. To Solicitor Miller's point, I would like to have a committee of 3 members who are willing to work through this with me so that we can get something on the books to address handicap parking. The rationale behind this, I don't know if you know or not. However, whenever we have to put a handicap parking placard, pole signs, painting lines in the street, that's an expense that the borough eats. There's no offset to that expense. Providing handicap parking in front of a residential property is an amenity. It's not a vital and necessary service for a borough to deliver to its residents in order for us to meet the standard of care for the quality of life that we want for our residents. So what I'm asking is not that we feed our community to death, but I'm asking that we have a measure to offset the expense that it costs the borough in order to put a handicap parking placard, pole, sign, and street signage in front of a residential property seeking a handicap parking permit. So to give you some cost to support what I'm asking for, right now, if we needed to order 1 sign to accommodate 1 resident, we have to order 50. 50 of those signs, just the sign alone is $630. But we can't do anything with just the sign. We also have to have the pole. The post itself for 50, because everything is in quantities of 50, is $1,498. In addition to that, we also have to have a sign that says that if anyone parks in that place, there's a violation, your vehicle will be towed. That's another sign. That sign in the increment of 50 is $620. Just to get 1, maybe 2 persons fulfilled with the request for a handicap parking, we have to spend $2,823 in order to get all of the equipment just to place the sign. The cost for bags of concrete mix is an additional expense. And depending on, because we don't buy them wholesale, we buy them typically from Home Depot or a local distributor, the bags range from $8 to $10 a bag. There is a cost for paint, because not only does the borough go out and repaint signs when residents request for their sign to be repainted, or repaint lines in the street when they request for their lines to be repainted, or at an initial install when both signs, the post, the concrete, and the painting is done, we spend, on average, $828.18 in paint. And that's just for 5 gallons. The cost could increase depending on what other things we need to buy paint for at that time, but our average cost for paint in the quantities that we need is $827.18. This book represents the number of handicap applications and placards that we may have already out in the borough. There are over 100 in here. To date, we don't know if those persons have deceased, because most people do not contact us to let us know that someone passed away. They just use the parking spot. We don't know, if the condition which initially made that individual eligible for handicap parking if that is still an existing condition that that resident is experiencing that would grant them that position to have the handicap parking. What I'm asking for in the ordinance is for our initial application to include a fee. The initial application fee will be at a higher rate because of the fact that we're buying 2 signs, a post, concrete, and paint to install that handicap parking in front of that resident's home. This ordinance is also requesting that a vetting process of sorts happens in order to ensure that the requester is actually, their home is in an area that warrants a handicap parking. For example, some boroughs will deny a person a handicap parking if they have a driveway, whether it be in the front of their home or the rear of their home. What I'm asking for is that we adopt that same measure to say, if you have if you are requesting a handicap parking, but you have a residential driveway in the front or rear of your home, you would be denied. Would a resident have an opportunity to appeal? Absolutely. There are exigent circumstances that when they appeal to council, you may say, yes, I think this person still deserves it. But to take up space on a block for someone who has a handicap parking but has a driveway in their front yard, that poses a quality of life issue for other residents to be able to park. There was a question about, I was in conversation with our code enforcement officer. We are receiving calls for people with requests to have cones removed. Having an obstruction in the street to hold a parking spot is a Title 75 violation. So we don't even need to have anything on the books for that. The law enforcement can just have it removed because you can't have things in the street. But people are putting cones out because there are so many handicap parking spots, they don't have a place to park. This ordinance will also allow us to have an annual check. So annually, we will be recertifying every person who put in an application for a handicap parking. The recertification guarantees that 1, the handicap still exists. 2, the resident still lives in that area, in that home, wherever the handicap is placed. And 3, so that we offset the expense for repainting the sign and lines when that resident requests it. All of these services, or all of these measures that we're taking with this ordinance that I'm requesting do come with a fee. The initial application fee and the renewal fee. If a resident fails to renew, we will remove the sign. That resident will have to reapply. The reapplying is, again, to ensure that we have checks and balances for who we're granting handicap parking to, and also making sure that, again, we're assessing the area to see if there's room. We really have to put some guardrails behind it. Everybody won't be able to get it. However, the ordinance does speak to residents who have, or disabled veterans who have, residents who have, the handicap insignia as their license plate. That's a different level. Those applications, we do have parameters in the ordinance to be able to address that. I know that this is lengthy, so I am asking again for members who are interested in being a part of a small group to review this in its totality so that we can work out something that is beneficial for the community that we serve.
I'll help you.
I have, so thank you for doing this, and thank you for, this answers a lot of outstanding questions that we have as a community and how to address different people's needs as they pertain to asking for handicap spaces as well as trying to accommodate the number of vehicles here. I did get a chance to read through it, and I have some questions and comments I'm happy to share now, or I can forward to you later. I wouldn't mind if I just, not that you can have to address each one of them, but yeah, we can go just share them out. Okay. So to everything you just said, I think after the 2 whereases that address promoting public safety and establishing uniform standards, I do think it would benefit us to include here that we're also seeking to accommodate the community at large's need for parking like this. So that would be an ask of mine that we had. Something that speaks to the other part of this, community members that don't have places to park. Under section 3, where it says nature of disability, I wondered what criteria which criteria would we evaluate that? Is that something that, once a person has gotten permission to have a handicap placard from their physician, what way would we evaluate the nature of that disability? I'm not certain.
Section 2, what letter?
Section 3, sorry,
three.
I don't see. Oh, A, it's under A, number 4. It just says nature of disability. And I just want to be cautious that we're not encroaching on something that's just outside of our wheelhouse.
Yep.
So that question there. And then availability of off-street parking in our driveway. I have opinions on that because I do see people that have a driveway that's closer to their front door and they have a handicap parking on the street, which is almost like just taking up a spot. If you have a disability, you should be closer to your door. Then on the converse though, there are people like I live in a twin, my driveway's in the back. If I needed a handicap spot, if I weren't eligible for one because I have a driveway, I'd have to walk up 2 flights of stairs to get inside. So I think if we shape this so that it's reasonable, right? In that case, if someone has a disability and they need a spot, even though they have a driveway, I don't want to just disqualify people without us having looked at the circumstance of their property. And I know you said that they could reapply, or if they were denied, they could appeal. But maybe if there's a way to avoid, deny, and appeal, to just have a standard written in that says if your property is like this, then conditional qualification, something. I don't know, and Kyle, you can probably help us with that. But I don't think it's just because of the way our homes are, and that's with the shared driveways in the back of some places. I don't know that it would meet the need for those who really do need it. I didn't know what verification of application meant. What is that? What did you have in mind for that?
Just reviewing that the applicant is who is applying. So there are sometimes circumstances where the applicant may be the end, and
It doesn't live there.
correct, or they live there, but the person with the disability does not live there. They just visit.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. And then whether the condition giving rise to the request is reasonably expected to persist for not less than 6 months. I believe that the type of placard you get determines whether or not you can get a spot. So like if you have like a temporary disability, then you get a red one versus a blue one, and then I don't know if that we'd be issuing spots for people with the red placard. But I think we could work that out just with the understanding of how placards are issued. And then I already addressed the part about the driveways. And then on section 5, under B, renewal applications must be filed with the chief no later than 30 days of expiration. And I wondered, as we build out the process, can we build some kind of automated way that people will get a notice, like, when your vehicle inspection is due, you get a notice from PennDOT that tells you to get, prepared to do this step, so that people aren't just missing the deadline because they forgot to mark it on their calendar. If there's a way to create an automated renewal process, or I don't know if the department has a way that they can actually just drop into this system, but yeah, that was that. And then, so 6 and 7 are, I think, make sense. Only thing I wondered is that as 7 is on failure to complete application, and then would there be a notice to them to let them know this is going to be taken down and removed? If we could bake that in, rather. And then I noticed that under 8, with the removal of the sign, it's proposed that we do 60 days notice would be given to someone that their sign is going to come down. At that point, we're at 5 months notice because we've already given them 90 days to get it done or to renew, and then after they fail to renew, it's another 60 days. So maybe there's room to just shrink that number if it makes sense. Like 5 months is a long time to process.
You're talking about, for clarity, section 7 versus section 8?
Kind of, yeah, not versus in in tandem of each other. So like in 7, we say 90 days for that they have residents with existing restricted handicap parking signs shall apply to the Sharon Hill Police Department within 90 days of the effective date of the ordinance renewal. And so that makes sense, that's the notice. But then after 90 days, we're giving another 60 days to go ahead and have the signs taken down. So it's like 5 months of processing. If it makes sense, it makes sense. I just thought that's a long time if we're actually looking at something where a person just doesn't live there anymore or something like that.
So it's the way you're reading it.
Okay.
A sign may be removed after notice if 1, 2, and 3 does. It's the does. So the applicant is no longer handicapped or severely disabled, the applicant has moved or is deceased, or the applicant, the privilege is being abused. The next part, that's like a break. I don't have a line there, we'll make an invisible line.
Okay.
And then it's written notice. Written notice shall state the reasons for removal and provide at least 60 days notice. This is just after. So in that 90-day window, notices will go out, it's time for your renewal. If you don't do that, you'll automatically get your sign taken up with after those days. Another reason why you can have your sign removed are any of these reasons, and then you'll get written notice within 60 days. If you, it could be, you could just have your sign removed because the applicant is no longer handicapped, or they come in and they say, hey, I don't need it anymore, I'm moving, and we'll take it up, but we'll still send a notice out to say this is the reason why. But we can tweak the language for certain to make sure that it reads more clearly.
I think it reads clearly. I just started to add the days, but now that you explained it, there was no need to do that. No problem.
I think you need to tweak it, because if it was misjudged from the panel, it can be very misjudged from the residents. My question is, you had a big thick book over there in your presence, and you said it goes at least 100 applicants. I don't know how far back in date it go, but it would be interesting to know if those who are still in need of it, are they grandfathered in, or will they have to do a new registration?
So opening up the book, the first application in here is from 2017. The question first would be, does the person still live there? Is the sign still there? Like, there's a lot of work that will go into to investigating how much of this is still accurate. From this though, and we can talk more about this in these small groups, there'll have to be an entire implementation process. So we do need to start fresh with renewals.
Okay.
And we will be working through the summer to get those together so that we know who we're sending renewal notices to, so that they know by whatever date we set, whether it's 12/1/26 or 12/2/26, that they need to renew their handicap. And we can give them until February of 27 in order to get it in, but we do need to start the process at some point and set our renewal date so that we can let residents know, they can submit the required documentation to us, and we can verify that they fit the criteria for.
So how soon are you going to purge that list, the existing list you have?
The book over the summer.
Over the summer? I would like to be that third, fourth person that you need.
Well, I only have 2 right now.
You need two?
Okay.
Oh, you wanted to do it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
it's the shining star.
Okay.
No,
Okay, we can have 2 committees. We can have a committee so we're gonna know. This is a big ask. It is. I understand that residents may not take a liking to it at first, but it really is because there's so much revenue spent on maintaining handicap parking. Nowhere else in Delco can you get a handicap parking in front of your house for free. There's always some kind of fee.
And we just need to implement a measure to make sure that we can offset the expense for the materials we need, as well as a mechanism to verify.
So what are we gonna do first? Do the list or do the resolution?
So we can have a group work on the list. That's completely separate because we do need to get this, we need to have all these addresses categorized some way electronically so that we can easily mail merge and get our list, our email list, our mailing list out. So that's one whole project in itself. Then we have another group that can go through the actual ordinance to say, this is how we like it to read, et cetera, et cetera. At some point, we can switch. So the persons who were working on categorizing the all of the locations where the handicaps are and getting the list together can transition over to looking at what the first group that had their eyes on the ordinance worked on, and then those other, vice versa, you just switch. So I think there's room for everybody to have some involvement here because this is monumental, but necessary.
All right, I got a question.
Yes.
All right, when you contact the resident, is it always gonna be via mail? And then when you shift gears to verify how they qualify, is that gonna be an interview process or are they gonna have to fill out an affidavit?
So there's an application, and what will happen, is residents, and we can work this out. This is not, this is just a shell of something to get us started. So we can have residents come and get their applications from Borough Hall. They can obtain their applications online. There is an existing application. We'll just need to modify it to bring it to the standard that we need it to be at in order to do the work that we need to do behind the scenes, which is making sure that we put in when they in an Excel sheet when they put their application in and when the renewal, right? A part of the assessment is law enforcement, whether it be the chief or an officer that he assigns. They'll go to the residents. They'll look, take their photos, what have you, to see if how many are already on that block. Does this person have a driveway in the front? Like, these are the types of checks.
That makes sense.
Correct, that they'll go through. As we continue to work on this, if it's council's pleasure to have nothing about driveways or what have you, we can work that out. But we have to have something, and there has to be something that's like, we can't approve this one. We need more. And that's when they come before you for appeal. So if it's, I take the picture, by ordinance, this doesn't qualify, you can go before council, that's when they come before you and they can give you more as to why they need it.
Details matter.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And every case will be different. There may be someone who's handicapped, and they have a driveway in front of their home, and there may be an exigent circumstance that they have to walk in here and show you.
It makes sense because it's economical. If the borough gonna put out that kind of money and you have to buy in bulk and you have to buy different components to make that happen, just to get one sign, it's a lot. So I think it makes sense. Taxpayers should like it. I know it may be inconvenience for the disabled, but it's for their protection, for their benefit, and at the same time, it'll be a saving to the taxpayers in our community. But we don't know who is eligible for disability signs or not. And I don't think that should fall on the taxpayers. I think everybody should contribute.
I want to say also with regard to the driveway, so we have not that many types of homes here in the borough. So I think while we can still have this, we should still have the space for appeal. If there is room to create standards, then we could do that, because we have already had people in the borough be told, oh, you're not eligible because of you have a driveway. Meanwhile, their driveway is in the back, and they access the home through the front. So if there are ways for us to develop standards, and then the chief can tell us, like, I don't know who the authority is that would reach for that information to see what standards there are in place. I think it would be helpful to bake them in. Not that that would exclude anybody from an appeal process, but I think it'd be easier so people don't bother come when the exception is already, or the standard is already there, you just really don't meet the criteria. So I'm in favor of what you were describing in terms of driveways and spots in front. I just think it can help people absorb it better if we have standards already in place.
I wanted to say a couple of things. I really like the research you did on this. I do know we have a fairly a nice sized elderly population, so it's really important for us to think about that. I do think that the numbers, when we're putting them out like that, sounds like a lot, but when you think about this in terms of per unit, it may not cost as much. Because when you think about the 2,000 something divided by 50, that's like $50 for that. So I think as we add and give and look at all the costs together and we think about it, what it costs per unit, it's not gonna sound as bad as it does when we list all the numbers. And given that we have so many already, it may be worth us buying in bulk because we already have over 100, as you said. I was wondering, just process sake, if when you get the list synthesized into some sort of electronic process, would it be helpful to think about the person who's already looking around and seeing if those placards are still there, if they're still marked? It may be a quicker process to figure out if those 100 plus are actually still in place or need to be renewed. I do think in terms of quality of life and the limited parking we have, one thing to consider, and I don't know if this is doable, Joy, it may be worth us thinking about a limit on how many are on a block. I went up a street on Barker Street, and it was like the entire block was handicap parking. And I feel for like if you have a young family or something, it's like there's no available parking around there. So I hate to say that because I cringe thinking about if we have a number of elders on the same block. But to be fair to the entire community, we may want to think about, okay, if we already have 3 on this block, do we want to go over that limit or say to the person, you're in that, we know we're going to have someone who had a temporary disability or something like that. I don't know if it's doable, but just something to think about in terms of limitation.
I agree with your point, and I think that's to Madam President's point about setting standards. That's why I started with driveways. I started with driveways because I was like, that's the clearest cut reason we could say no. You already have a driveway. But the quantity on the block matters also. Just to the block that you were referencing, because some of those people already have them, as we're going through this process and we're looking for people to renew, it's going to be this is going to be something that I recognize is going to be a challenge for the community to digest initially, because it could run the risk of someone getting their handicap parking pulled. It's not a punishment or anything like that, but we have to be able to accommodate everybody on the block. We cannot have an entire block of just handicaps. So we will have to put some measure in. And this is just something to think about for the committees as we begin to digest this further. We will have to think about that. It can be a part of the list of section 3, the review determinations. That could be one of those things. I mean, it doesn't expressly say that, but it says impact on traffic flow. That implies a lot, because if there's not enough places to park and people are parking any old kind of way, that's impacting the traffic flow. So I try to use broad language to speak to things like that, but that's the level of thought that will have to go into not only the chief or his team's review, but also council as you're considering whether or not to appeal to this individual's request.
And so, the final thought is the concurrence with Madam President on the nature of disability. Maybe we say something about verification, because we may be in risk of HIPAA violations, because we certain things we won't be able to get, but if they get the medical paper saying they can have it, that's the limit we can have.
So the nature of disability, just to give you a point of reference to where I was going with this, there may be the nature of a person's disability may be that they're actually physically in a wheelchair. So as a part of a bill, because you may make that concession for someone who has a wheelchair. You may make a different concession for someone who does not. Simply put.
Yeah, if the I guess my thing is, I totally agree, and if they have something that says they have a physical disability from their medical professional and they need to have it, I don't know how we assess the difference between what the physician has told them.
Well, I have it down to look at, so we can definitely tweak it. It's not, extra stone. We can definitely tweak it, but I do appreciate your attention to this. Again, it's something that will help us to get a handle on the number of handicap parking requests that we get, as well as offset the expense for the materials to maintain those spaces. One other.
Yeah, go ahead. I just have one statement, and I just also, we need to remember the issues with the driveways that we do have that are waiting for repairs, or that need to be repaired. People who may be part of those driveways, or for example, we have a street right off of Elmwood Avenue that you wouldn't even know was a street. So we have to take in, those are some outside situations that would affect someone getting it versus not getting it, I would think. Because if you can't, even if you have a driveway or a space to park in the back, if the conditions to get there aren't realistic, then
All right, I'd like
just an
to make a
example
quick comment. I just looked it up real quick. To obtain a handicap parking permit in Pennsylvania, you must submit a form, MV 14-5A, application for a person with a disability parking placard, which requires a licensed physician's certification of a qualifying mobility, lung, cardiac, or visual impairment. Supporting documentation includes a valid driver's license or ID, vehicle registration, and in some cases a fee. So all that information will be coming through for our initial process. So that gives us the tools to move forward, making a determination.
Right.
So I think that's our opportunity right there.
Yeah, I think that
Set the standard like Madam President said.
And what I just want to be clear that we don't go into, we're not going to be evaluating whether a doctor gave a placard. So the placard is good for when you go to the supermarket, but the doctor doesn't know that your house has a driveway right by the front door. And that's the part that we're not going to be questioning someone's ability or disability, but we're just going to look at it as it relates to their home and the ask. And just so that we're not encroaching in spaces that we are not the subject matter experts, and we don't need to. If the doctor gave you the placard, then that defines your disability sufficiently. Just whether or not your property now warrants you getting a spot would be what we would evaluate. And then another standard to add to the list is we do have some streets that only have one side of the street parking. And so someone may request a spot that's actually in front of someone else's home. And I don't know the answer to that. We probably need to evaluate that. We have that happening on some streets right now. So we can add that to the list of standards to look into. But this is really and excellent and way overdue in terms of just needing to address the issue of handicap spaces. So thank you for all of that work.
All right, thank you so much. I know it's getting to an hour and I don't want to belabor. So really quickly, the liquid fuels audit is complete. The exit interview was held on 2/20. The final report and audit will be available once the Auditor General Office approves it. It'll be posted online as all liquid fuels reports are. We completed a council chamber walkthrough for equipment upgrades. As you know, we have the YouTube channel. We're looking to transfer our footage over to YouTube. We're looking to also enhance our audio and visuals for council meetings. There's ongoing monitoring and responding to constituent calls and emails. I completed all the required documentation for the land development project, so all the signing, all the plans, all the work is done. We're just waiting on the Starbucks and the Snipes to be here so that we can get our coffee and juice. I met with KC Signs regarding the digital marquee, so I do have I have some information on the digital marquee. That's an ongoing process. We're most likely going to be looking at another vendor to help us get a new marquee out front, but conversations have been had, work is being done around that. Also working to replace the damaged speed sign. That's an ongoing project, but the chief did provide me with the report, so I was able to make sure that Darby Township manager received it, and we can work with our insurance carrier to get some compensation or a replacement sign for that. Continue to work with the Public Works to formalize a maintenance and service schedule, so that speaks to the vehicles as well as some of our equipment. Continuing to work on the Borough Hall builds. We're working on having weekly meetings. So we've been having weekly meetings about the new Borough Hall building, going over some layouts and some revisions for that. And of course, last but not least, working with VP Hill to gain clarity on the boundaries for the borough-owned outdoor recreational spaces. We also are pulling in Madam President, Councilman Patrick, to be a part of that discussion as well, but finding out that your email's not working, you may not have gotten the email, so we'll make sure that you get the email. We're just looking to get some clarity around the spaces that, again, the borough owns versus the school district, and kind of revisiting that territory, as well as some other things that are low-hanging fruit. That concludes my report. Are there any questions for the borough manager on the other items in her operations overview? I'm sure there's more. I just don't. I don't write it all down. I just work on getting it done. Well, thank you, Madam Borough Manager. Okay, so we have arrived at the public comment section of our meeting. I'd like to remind the public that public comment is for 3 minutes. And then please ask all of your questions, and then we will respond so that we don't use your time. I only have one public comment card received, so if there are any others, you can bring them up. But at this time, Mrs. Dreadgill. Okay, are you there? Are you there? Okay.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
For the residents of Sharon Hill, we're asking that you join us for a free asset protection and estate planning workshop. It will be free. Danishes and coffee will be provided, and it will be held at the Sharon Hill Public Library on Saturday, April 11th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And this will be provided by Wealth Building Foundation. Again, this is an asset protection and estate planning workshop. All right, so come and protect what matters most to you.
What's that time again?
It is April 18th from 11 a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. And again, this is sponsored by Wealth Building Foundation, and it is free to Sharon Hill residents.
You have to register?
No, you do not. All right, and the other thing is just a bit of information for Academy Park. We did and personally invite you to our Black History Month showcase. Mr. Sharon, he was here last month, and he extended a personal invitation, and we would like to thank Councilwoman Tanya Allen for coming to our showcase. It was absolutely phenomenal. Our theme for our showcase was past, present, and future, and D9 was represented. We had our students, poems, dancing, singing. It was absolutely amazing. I think it was probably the best showcase that we have put on so far at Academy Park. But I would like to thank Mr. Ashby and the Sharon Hill Public Library as they paid for our still walker, Sister Mafalda. She came and she solicited about 15 ambassadors who, with her performance, they joined her in a parade with flags that made up the African diaspora. And so again, thank you, Mr. Ashby, for paying for her to do that for us at Academy Park. The students were really excited about seeing that performance. And I would like to say that I do know that for the Sharon Hill Public Library, we do use our high school students for volunteer work. And so if ever you're having certain things here in the borough, especially during school time, if ever you're having certain things in the borough and you're looking for volunteers, I would suggest that you reach out to the high school because right now I am the principal of our seniors, and our seniors need hours. They need volunteer hours to meet their graduation pathway. And so, especially during school time, if you're looking for volunteers, I ask that you reach out to me, and we can actually post it on our seniors on their Google Classroom to let them know that these hours are available. They do know that with Mr. Ashby at the Sharon Hill Public Library, as they have already been there to receive their hours for our pathway, graduation pathway. I would also like to say that last month, I know we're making that bridge, or we're bridging that connection between the borough and our school district, Southeast Delco School District. And last month, our councilwoman, Dr. Fleming, she attended the committee of the whole last month, but it is on the third Thursday of the month, and our board meeting is on the fourth Monday of the month. So I guess anytime you feel like coming on over to the school board meetings to find out what's really going on in our district as a whole, you know, of course, you're certainly welcome to do so. But if I ever get up here and talk about anything, I'm talking about Academy Park. Because that's where I am, or Sharon Hill Elementary, because it's in my borough. But if you want to find out about anybody else, go to Southeast Delco to the committee of the whole and board meeting. And quick question. Will the Board of Trustees give
So you can just wrap your last statement and then we'll go forward because some questions for you. Go ahead and wrap that.
Question. Will the Board of Trustees for the library, will we be involved in the planning and rebuilding of the library, or any talks concerning that? That was it.
Okay. You can just hold on because I think there are some questions for you from the council.
Okay.
Yes, the time for the third Thursday of the month.
Southeast Delco Committee of the Whole is at 6:00 p.m. The school board meeting is at 7:00 p.m. on the fourth Thursday.
At 7.
7:00 p.m. on the fourth Thursday of the month.
Oh, okay.
And the committee of the whole is at 6:00. So, yeah, that's how she was able to come to ladies.
Both of us on Thursday.
Yeah. We have, remember you all changed it because
Yeah.
we made that request a long time ago.
Yes.
Y'all changed it so I can get
Yes.
Okay. So I would say to our committees and our boards, we're used to working amongst ourselves. But if you have planned programs that you can submit, if you would allow students to come in, we'd have to kind of think outside the box for that because you have board members that do the work all the time and you might not necessarily identify an opportunity. But if we can, like when we do the cleanup days, the kids have come out and helped us tremendously with that. We don't have a new one. We don't have a spring date yet.
Okay,
Yeah.
because Home Depot really wants to be part of that.
Excellent. Okay.
So I had a meeting with them Monday.
Okay.
So I need to get a date as soon as you get one.
Okay.
Easter. He mentioned something about Easter. He was looking for volunteers.
Right. Okay.
I'm thinking, if we get it in time, I can advertise it and ask for volunteers. We just need an adult to have their names sign off on the hours and get those hours to us so that we can document
Okay, thank you.
The 33rd meeting is where? At school?
No, Southeast Delco at
Both
the
of them
main
at the same place?
Yes.
And so just for anyone who doesn't have awareness, Mrs. Threadgill is also the president of the library board. So that's why she's giving us these insights on the library board's work. And before you got here, I did share about the showcase, so thank you for doubling down. It was really an amazing display of our students. I was beside myself and so filled when I left there that day.
Can I ask one more question? You said during school hours, does the volunteering have to happen during school hours?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So any other public comments?
I'm sorry. Okay.
Ms. Williams? Yes, you can give it to me after.
First of all, I really regret saying this because it's the first time I've felt like this, and I've lived here since 1998.
Can you just speak up a little louder, please?
I regret saying this because it's the first time I felt like this, and I've lived in this borough since 1998. I am a person with a handicapped parking space. I have a handicapped parking permanent placard on my vehicle. Okay. Now, I felt by your presentation, the manner and the tone, and some of the information that you referenced, all of which is not true.
Can you just direct your comments to the chair, please?
I felt very, very targeted as a person with a handicap. And knowing that we are limited funds in this budget, in this borough, I felt that we're being targeted to supply additional funds to this borough, particularly the manner in which the core. Number two, public town meeting. Public town meeting. How can you consider putting together an audience that affects a group of disadvantaged persons without our input? Now, I'm not aware of the blocks that have a lot of handicapped parking spaces on them, but I'm going to make the assumption that those persons need those spaces. And when we all moved here into this borough on our respective streets at our respective times, who would have known that either immediately then or over time, we might have developed a disability that warranted us to have a parking and handicapped parking space. Now, when I applied for my space years ago, before you persons were in place here at the borough, maybe you were still here, you were president then, Mr. Founder, we had to fill out extensive medical forms. Every physician that took care of me, every test I took had to be submitted. And we all assumed that it was verified. I'm going to tell you as a medical provider, I'm an acute care nurse practitioner retired. No medical person is signing off on a disability form that's illegitimate because the state will discipline us if we are losing our license or privileges. So I'm completely outraged tonight. I'm completely outraged. Now with regard to the reference to the cost of the second sign, Chief offered that here to residents if they want to have it. So it's not mandatory. Not mandatory. It was always, do you want to have the second sign that says your vehicle to be towed with by handicapped is parked here? And many of us didn't go for the deadline. I didn't go for the deadline, myself, because I didn't see the need. Now, I will speak to my block. I believe that we have 4 spaces.
Okay.
We have a lot of cones on my block.
Ms. Williams, your time is up, so if you want to complete your statement, and then we'll go
The
to.
cones on my block are by other neighbors that have 3 to 5 cars. And I'm not going to identify other people by name, but they have 3 to 5 vehicles. So they want to park all in the front. So because they can't park all in the front, they're unhappy. They're unhappy.
Okay.
So maybe on some of the other blocks where these complaints are coming from neighbors who are not handicapped, it's because they have more than one vehicle and they want to park all their vehicles in the front of their house because they don't want to park in the back. But I do feel by the council tonight targeted as a person with a disability. And it's the first time I ever felt outraged and I'm happy to live here.
Okay, thank you for your comment. I will, and councilors, please feel free to respond. I will say, and this is the very first pass that our borough manager brought this to the, to council for consideration, and we will always have these type of conversations in the public setting so that people can react and respond. At town hall, we've had other town halls and we've had other strategic planning meetings when we give consideration to other ordinances. So at no point did we say we would not have one of those, but this is the very first introduction of this. In terms of the number of spaces, I think it was clear that if you are eligible and you should have one, then you will have one. It's not a removal of anything, and what I think Dr. Fleming and I were trying to make sure we were not encroaching on what a doctor has already determined is a qualifying factor for somebody to have the placard. We just do need to give consideration to the landscape of our community. But if anyone is eligible, then there would be no reason for them to not have the placard, the space that they have. However, what we didn't talk about tonight in that book is how many of these homes have signs and the person has moved away, has passed away, and the new resident now uses the parking, or it's just held, it's just empty. So we do have to consider that, and that is a big part of this, and that will help all of us who live here, because all of us taxpayers, whether we are disabled or have a placard or not, do incur the cost. It's just picked up. What Joy didn't include in there is that there's also costs for the gentleman to go out, the public works employees to go out and do the work. Free is the way, has been the way of life in Sharon Hill, and somebody picks up the bill. And it just rolls on to everybody. So in these places, and like she said, we might be the last municipality in Delco to have it free. We have to catch up because we had, as everyone experienced a tax increase this year, we have to catch up in terms of our costs. The mayor actually talked about costs that he evaluated recently for our department and the services that they provide. So uniformly, we're looking, it's not a target at any particular population, but uniformly we're looking at places where the borough has picked up a financial burden that's no longer sustainable to us. So there's no target to any population in the proposal of this ordinance. And regarding the signs being mandatory, we did find that it is mandatory to post a sign if the intention is to tow. So for people with handicap placards, when you get home, because it's not your spot, but when you get home and another person is parked there, you want the police to move that car. They are not able to move it unless it is posted that this space is subject to towing. So it is mandatory that we post those signs. So the 2 signs are required. But this is the first pass at this, an introduction of this proposed ordinance, and I do believe we will have more discussion. We will convene in our groups, and we will definitely engage the public so that there is an understanding and a soft rollout before we do something that's changed, because it is change. It's a new introduction, but we can't be the last place on earth to start introducing costs and could keep eating costs where it's just not sustainable for us. These are the reasons, not that we want to just make anybody feel targeted or penalized, but these are the reasons we have to start scrutinizing some of the costs that we have and some that we just don't have. Councilors, I don't know if you have additional comments.
I just wanted to say, Ms. Williams, thank you so much for your comments. I think, Joy, you did such an excellent job, but it is worth us being aware of not what our intent is, but the impact, the way people receive the information. I'm so sorry that you felt targeted. I know that wasn't Joy's intent, and I think we did try to clarify some of that, but it is worth us thinking about how, if you felt that way, what is going to be the reaction from other elders and disabled and veterans in our community. So it's about how we communicate it, because you did such a great job. So we should be a little bit more sensitive to what came across. So, and I know that wasn't our intent, but I just want to say thank you so much, because sometimes we're not aware. We're getting into the business of the details and going through causes and not thinking about how it lands. So thank you for your comments.
Time. I'll say it is not directly targeted. It's literally to mitigate the cost of materials. The cost of materials has gone up. The cost of everything has gone up, and it's not about you in particular. It definitely is nothing about you. It's all about basically maintaining how do we make sure we have the resources to facilitate this particular task. We know we have handicap spaces that the residents have moved on. we've had this condition happen for years. It doesn't pop up as much until residents come with the complaint for it. So it's not so much about you, it's about maintaining and making sure that when it comes time for someone to have a handicap space, they can get it. And if, let's say, 10 years goes by and they've moved on, transitioned to going anywhere else, who's going to know to take and pick it up? There's maintenance involved, and this is just to cover that maintenance and the care of making sure that everyone with a handicap space is taken care of. So that's the overall purpose. It's not to target or go against handicapped individuals or people with whatever situation. The purpose is truly and 100% just to maintain the materials required so that we can service people.
Is there any other public comment? Alrighty. There is no other public comment. We will go forward to new business. Before we get to the new business, I wanted to, Gary, ask you if you have a sample proclamation that we